y'all, JJ told me that my younger son was.
Hey, don't be saying no. I ain't no snitch now. I ain't no snitch.
You told me, you had warned me about it, but until I heard it for myself. But
I was just saying, I was like, man, he ain't as sweet as you think, man. That's all I'm gonna say.
I came up those stairs and I was like, who is that talking like that? Who is saying those words?
Playing the game.
These streets can't cross them up. All these streets need bosses. Boss them up.
Big dog status, Bill Hubble. A ball in his mouth for my brothers. Sold your bag, told the cutter. I got it out the field.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Gin Blend Podcast. My name is JJ.
And I am Raquel, a.k.a. Nurse Rock, y'all. And we are back for the 4th episode. We are at 1 month in.
Mm-hmm. It's a quick month.
It was a quick month. Yeah. It really was. This is our 1 month anniversary. So thank you guys for hanging in there with us. Yep. The support has been amazing. So let's get right into it, because last time we told y'all we were going to start talking a little bit deeper about parenting. And I know me being a Gen Xer and you being a millennial, we got just a few differences of opinions, I think, of how
a lot of differences.
Well, when it comes to raising, because I think I just came from a generation that we were just stricter. We felt like we needed to be stricter.
I say more strict.
Well, yeah.
That strict sound country.
It does sound. Well, I am country. I'm a country girl. I'm North Carolina born and raised, baby. Yeah, so I'm a country girl. So we did things differently.
Yeah, y'all definitely more strict than what we are. I try to be strict sometimes, but it doesn't work.
Yeah. I mean, and I don't have to be strict anymore. So I think you get that confused. As a grandparent, I don't have to be strict with them. That's your job.
Nah, I disagree, because even Mama Jordan was strict on us. But we had a little bit of leeway, but she definitely was still strict. She definitely popped us and stuff.
Yeah.
She had that fly swatter ready and everything.
Right. Back then, that was the thing back then. I think it's just different with all the kids now. I mean, probably even before they can walk, they usually have like an iPad or a tablet or something.
They're definitely more tech savvy.
Yeah, they are. They can use my phone and get to an app better than I can.
And then Layla, she learned iPad password real quick. She put it in she know that password.
Yep, she's good with
She
that.
know how to turn it on. She know what apps to go to and everything. So
yeah, but as a Gen Xer, I can't help but wonder, like, with the way things are, is that a good thing? Like, them. I know being tech savvy is one thing, but I feel like they are very attached to the tablets. Yeah,
they are. I think it just more convenient for the parents today, because when we had to get tasks done around the house, it keeps them in one spot, in one place.
Oh yeah.
And keep them occupied. So I think that's why we let them get away with screen time today, more than y'all did.
Yeah. So, I think so. Because it's different now. I know even now, I just noticed that you don't hear of, I don't care whether you, when you're out of school in the summertime, for y'all, it would be, all right, y'all go out there and play.
Play all day.
And you had to be out there. You know how the old people used to play. Don't be opening, y'all remember? Don't be opening my doors back and forth and letting flies in my house. That was the type of thing back in
this weekend we went to see family. That's what it kind of reminded me of, that, because they kept going in and out. And there was flies in and out. Y'all stay in or out. So,
that's it. That's what we were told. Either you're going to be in here or you're going outside. And when you went outside, you stayed outside. Yeah. You didn't come like every 10 minutes back and forth type of thing.
But they definitely got to come in multiple times. A lot of times. It was like one or two times. And that third time, you got to stay. You got to stay put where you
really
at.
did.
Yeah.
I feel like back then you were told stuff like that, and it was, they checked you real quick. Like if they told you to do something, or even I'm gonna go ahead, and I already put out a disclaimer on the first episode, y'all. I already know some of the things how I was back then won't pass now. Some of that stuff won't pass right now, but it was a thing back then. If I told you something, I expected it to be done. I expected you to obey what I said. Yeah. Where now, I feel like millennial parents, they will say something, but there's like, y'all give out like 3 to 5 warnings, at least, before y'all actually make sure that the kids do what you told them to do, type of thing.
The daggone gentle parenting mess. Like, I be trying to do that because they be like, you know, the researchers be like, discipline your children with like whoopings and spankings don't really do nothing. It hurts the child. Well, I feel like it made me who I am today. It made me stronger.
Oh my goodness. Well, I mean,
like the kids now are kind of soft and crybabies. Is that the
only way you can do it though? Like, even as a Gen Xer, like, I didn't necessarily have to spank you. Like, I felt like if I gave you a certain tone, if I said, listen, I said, don't do such and such. And if I gave you a look, that was it. It was done.
It's not like that no more.
You didn't do it no more because you knew I was serious. Like, I gave the tone. I think it was because you knew that there was going to be action, that I wasn't just playing a game. I feel like the now the generation play with the kids so much, and it's good to play with your kid, but not when it comes to discipline. I think that's probably where we differ, because I feel like it's almost like policy. Like at work, everybody got to follow the policy. Yeah, you know. So I feel like it's teaching you that rules are rules, and you need to follow those rules, and you don't just get to break them because you want to.
Nah, these kids nowadays are gangsters. I ain't gonna lie. They call your bluff sometimes.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. They do. So. I think they do. But let's say, let's be honest though, do you think how heavy or how strict Gen Xers were with discipline, do you think that hurt your generation or did it help your generation? Because I'm trying to, like, I just feel like there's some things from generations that we might need to kind of step away from and not do. Mm-hmm. But then there's some things I feel like we need to carry on to the next generation to help us be better. Because each generation prior to your generation they were survivors, right? They were in that resilient mode. And I think it helps us to do some of those things and not throw all that stuff out.
But I think certain things that parents did back in the day, I felt like we millennials thought was a little bit toxic. So I think we try to break away from some of the tradition. Yeah. And try to do our own thing. Yeah. Try to improve on the parenting. But some of the improvements that we think are helping are not really helping. I feel like they're making some of our kids softer, and we're creating more crybabies than.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't necessarily. Crying is not bad, right?
I mean, it's not bad, but like
showing your feelings, letting your emotion out.
But kids gotta learn too that you can't have your way all the time. Like, that's some true. Kids, they go overboard with their temper tantrums and throwing a fit. You know, I can't stand that.
And two, it's like if you take a child, for me, and this is old school, I just felt like, and please make your comments and let me know if any of y'all felt this way too, any of your Gen Xers, but I felt like my child needed to know that the world don't care nothing about you wanting me to say yes all the time. It's like you needed to know that things in life is not going to always come easy, and then everybody's not going to agree with you, and sometimes you're going to be told no. But it shouldn't shake your world to the point where, if you never tell a child no, and then they get to adulthood and first start getting a no, they might not understand. They might think it's them when it's really not them. It's just a normal process in the world to be told no. Yeah. And some can't handle it.
I'm struggling with that right now. Even like, when Layla be trying to leave here, and they like, no, I don't want to go. Can I stay 5 more minutes? I said, no, you got to go. Or she like, can I watch TV for 5 more minutes? And I know it's bedtime. We got home late, so no TV.
She's tonight. A negotiator. They all are negotiators. I don't think none of them understand what 5 more minutes mean for sure. For sure. We had to start setting the timer so the timer could tell them when 5 minutes, because they think 5 minutes is a long time.
She think 5 minutes is 30 minutes because the time on the TV is only set to 30 minutes, so she think that's 5 minutes.
Yeah. But honestly, I do see that we got to get better And I'm just saying, I'm a Gen Xer, so we were good at telling y'all no. Okay.
Yeah.
We said no.
Yeah.
And then back then, on one thing we might have been doing wrong though. Back then it was like, well, why, Mom? Because I said so. Like we didn't give a real explanation. Yeah. We'd be like, listen, because I said so. Yeah, it wasn't where I felt like, and I probably could, some of that stuff I probably could gave an explanation for. I don't think it would have hurt. But some of it was a no. Yeah, I think this generation gives explanations.
I tell her like why, like I'd be like, cause she say why? Cause I'm like, it's late. You gonna be tired in the morning. You gonna be grumpy. You gonna be crying when you trying to brush your teeth. I said no, you need to go to sleep now so you can feel better in the morning and be in a better mood. Cause I ain't trying to deal with that in the morning. Cause that's the worst.
Right.
Yeah, that slows down the whole day.
I know when I grew up, it was the thing. They were like, because I said so.
Yeah, I remember.
They were hardcore back in the day.
Certain stuff I wouldn't even ask because I would already know what the answer is. I was just,
Right. Back in the day, if let's say if they told you to stop jumping over something and you kept doing it, and then you fail, like, and then you turn around and cry.
I do that.
They'll be like, well, that's what you get, because I told you not to.
I tell Layla that all the time. I say, see, every time I tell you you're going to get hurt, what happened? You get hurt.
They be like, well, that's what you get. They don't come over and patch up or nothing. They be like, well, that's what you get.
I tell her that all the time. I'm kind of, sometimes I'm hard on Layla. I'm a softie sometimes. But
Yeah. But I think, I feel like that's just some of the things that the Gen Xers are different. We do differ in that way. Mm-hmm. Another thing, and I'm not trying to, make anybody salty. But even when the Gen Xers, we didn't allow children to be in the middle of and participate in what we felt were adult conversations. Yeah, like if we'll say we had a group over, you couldn't sit in the middle of the adults and put your 2 cents in back then. It was like grown folks conversations. Yeah. You couldn't be.
Or you had to, if you were listening, you had to act like you weren't paying attention to playing with your toys.
You had the ear hustle. Yeah, you had the ear hustle back then. You can't be just
watching TV.
Right. I mean, do you think we were wrong for that, or?
Nah, because some stuff we just didn't need to know, and then we should have been in y'all business. There's no need for us to put our 2 cents in y'all conversation.
And it's the tone now. I feel like for us, for the Gen Xers, definitely there were certain words that we didn't want y'all to say around us, or how we didn't want y'all to talk. But there was even a certain tone that would irritate a Gen Xer if you talk to your mom or dad in a certain tone.
What do you mean?
Like yeah, huh?
Oh yeah.
What? No, don't say.
Oh yeah.
Oh
my God.
What?
I'm trying to work on that with Layla.
Right. But now I hear it all the time. It's like it's nothing. But
we just be like, don't say what.
Right.
Yeah, but y'all get on us.
It was it had to be yes ma'am.
Yes
sir.
Yeah.
No sir. No ma'am. And some people are against that now. They don't want you, they don't think they should. And for me, it was like a village, I feel like, raised each other back in the day.
Yeah.
And so if your neighbor, and so I know that's a little bit different. I know they think, I agree. Some people haven't earned the respect of yes sir, yes ma'am, but it was just a tradition of how we were raised. If it was an elder talking to you, it was always yes sir. It was a sign of respect. And you weren't allowed to just talk to an adult like you just talking to, somebody your own age. Back then it just wasn't allowed.
I used to get irritated because Layla used to be like, she didn't know the difference when she was younger. She'd be like, yes, ma'am. I said, I'm not a ma'am, I'm a sir.
But that shows she was trying.
Yeah, she was trying.
That means she was at least trying. She was trying to make sure that she, showed you some level of respect, you know? I mean, it's just different. I think a lot of things are different with parenting. I feel like y'all have a lot to watch now. I feel like, so I guess you don't want them to be totally trusting of strangers, you know what I mean? But I feel like if somebody they've been around their whole life and they only have their good intentions, I feel like they deserve to be respected.
I feel like they grow up faster too because they're exposed to a lot more now.
True.
Yeah.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Either that or time is just going by truly fast. But I just feel
true.
like they are just.
I don't feel it, but even I don't feel like I grew up as fast as they did though.
Right, and I don't feel like I grew up as fast as you did.
Oh, yeah, true.
So I mean, I feel like time was slow back then. Like with summer off from school back in the day was you felt like you had a nice summer off, even though it's about the same amount of time.
Yeah.
I just felt like those days didn't go by as fast as as they do now. Even now, I was thinking, about, let's say, YouTube now. You have YouTube now. Back when I was growing up, it was PBS. It was Public Broadcasting Service or something like that it was called. And, I could put y'all in front of the TV and I knew you were going to be watching Electric Company or Sesame Street or
Reading Rainbow.
Right. And it was something that was going to be educational. I didn't have to worry about them steering off, teaching y'all. Y'all know you don't want them to, but now when you put on YouTube now, you don't really know. Like,
it'd be some crazy stuff.
It's some stuff. I even noticed there's like kids reality stuff.
Yeah.
Like, instead of the Real Housewives, it's like the real Barbies or the real monster truckers. I don't know.
Layla watched this thing where the different princesses, and they're acting and they're with the princes and the different Disney characters, and they're talking about getting married and dating and stuff like that. And I'm like, bro, they don't need to be watching stuff like this on YouTube Kids.
Yeah. So I mean, I feel like it's like even that causes them to grow up faster and to know their little minds and know about concepts that they don't really understand. They really don't even understand it yet, I mean, so I think some things are kind of stacked that y'all got to work harder with.
So let me ask you this: do you think the programs and television shows were more beneficial back then than they are now?
I think so. I feel like even though we have the technology where we are showing growth, right? I don't necessarily see that you have the Coco Melons and the Miss Rachels and what do you call them other ones? The BBs or the Little Friends or the
Gracie's Corner.
Yeah, but I feel like that entertains them when they're like 1, 2.
There's
but after 2, after 2, they are already ready to move forward.
Yeah, I feel like
something else.
The cartoons back in the day had was better quality. Cause even then was like y'all cartoons like Looney Tunes, like those was like old as dirt, but they still entertained us when we was kids.
Yeah.
But now I can't even name none of the cartoons now. I see a couple of them on TV and I'd be like, what is this? It don't.
Right. Yeah. Those cartoons, you got to be careful because some of the messages behind them.
Oh yeah, because now they have like sexuality in them. And stuff like that.
Yeah. There's a lot. There's a lot that might be a little bit too much.
Yeah.
Predisposing them, and you know what I mean.
Yeah.
From a lot of different things, but with parents now, like, how do you raise your child where they are loving and you don't want them to be where they feel like they're isolated or different, so you want them to be inclusive and all that. I feel like it's getting harder to handle if you have like different views on things. You kind of have to let y'all children be exposed to whatever. So like, how do millennials combat that? Like, what's your plan when Layla goes to school and she sees different things? Like, I feel like you got to have a game plan when you get her back to the house or to explain things.
Yeah, you definitely have to have certain conversations, but when they leave your house and like go to school or somewhere, you can't control what they see or hear, or the other kids that like cuss words and stuff.
Yeah,
you can't really control that. So you just have to have those conversations at the house, tough conversations at the house.
I think that's I think that's a thing that crosses through all generations.
Mm-hmm.
Because even though when y'all were little, y'all didn't hear music that had cursing in it and all that when y'all were little.
I don't think that's that bad.
What?
The kids listen to curse words.
You don't think that's bad?
I don't think that's
so
bad.
We got a different opinion about that. I just feel like I know they.
It's bad when they say they repeat. Like, of course, you're gonna get them songs where sometimes they try to repeat what the song is saying, but you also gotta let them know, like, hey, you can't say that's a bad word. You're not supposed to say that. Like, you're not grown enough to say that.
Yeah.
Cause they're gonna hear the words anyway.
Yeah, because even if I didn't, y'all still heard them.
Yeah, exactly. So,
because I never forget that time when y'all were teenagers.
I tell this story all the time.
Listen, honey, you had JJ.
I just told it the other day.
JJ told me that my younger son was.
Hey, don't be saying no. I ain't no snitch now. I ain't no snitch.
You told me, you had warned me about it, but until I heard it for myself. But
I was just saying, I was like, man, he ain't as sweet as you think, man. That's all I'm gonna say.
I came up those stairs and I was like, who is that talking like that? Who is saying those words?
Playing the game. And I guess I wasn't moving as fast as he wanted me to because I was struggling in the game, and he was straight cussing me out. I was like, JJ, bring your on. And then you bust through the door.
I came through the door like
he said. He could have said nothing. That joke was funny.
But I mean. He knew.
Yeah.
But, he wouldn't do it.
But we was older then.
Y'all were older. Y'all were like high school.
Yeah.
I think y'all were high school.
So it wasn't that bad.
Yeah. But even that's still, that's a difference though. From the raising. Like even back then, y'all wouldn't, even you were high schoolers, if you were cursing, you wouldn't do it around me.
Nah.
So.
But yeah, we were definitely doing it though.
Yeah, I'm sure you were. I'm sure you were. Like, even quality sitcoms, like for me, I felt okay putting y'all in front of certain sitcoms and stuff. Like,
Fresh Prince.
I mean, you had even Fresh Prince, it was funny, but it still usually had some type of message behind, something to learn
Cosby
from.
Show.
Yes. Now those were reruns for y'all, but they were still good. They were still
even
Facts of Life, Different World. All that stuff.
We used to sit as a family and watch My Wife and Kids all the time.
Yeah, and laugh at it. And it was a good show. It was a show that you could really enjoy.
And it had some lessons, some
nice
lessons,
right? And that's my whole thing is about giving value. I feel like some of these shows, it's hard.
Silliness, that's all it is.
It's good to have fun and stuff, and I think it's maybe a balance, but I think it's good though when a show gives you some type of message to help you, that's going to help you later in life that you can build on.
Yeah, I feel like the shows that Layla watch is just the straight silliness on YouTube Kids.
So either way, we know we got some differences with our generations, but what I want to find out from you is, as a millennial, what from the Gen Xers do you plan to take in your journey of raising Layla? Because I understand all this stuff you're saying, but Layla's only 4.
Yeah.
So we got to go through, and all of it is a whole phase, honey. Yeah. And it's a girl. Yeah. So you got to go through 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18.
I don't even want to think about it right now.
Ooh, I know, but okay. So what can you take from the Gen Xers of how we did things into your millennial parenting as she gets older?
Well, one thing for sure I'm gonna take from y'all is making sure that she respects me. I don't want to say put like fear in her, but like
you don't want to. You want her to always feel like she can come to her daddy.
But you know what I'm saying? Like with y'all, like,
I understand.
You fear your parents a little bit. Like you fear, like if you do something wrong, you fear of disappointing your parents. Like I want that. I want her to fear of disappointing me.
Right.
Then I'm definitely not gonna let her just to go to anybody's house. I gotta meet the parents. Even if I meet the parents, like I gotta feel like a great level of comfortability.
Yeah.
Around when she's around the different people that I don't know.
Yeah.
So
I get that.
Or I'm just meeting. So I'm definitely gonna take that from y'all. That she can't be going to anybody's house.
Yeah, I didn't. You know, I was bad about that.
Yeah,
that was rare.
But it was
very but it was rare
because we was boys though too though.
But even boys, I didn't let y'all. It was rare. It was rare, especially when y'all were young. You had to be. You didn't go nowhere.
It wasn't until like middle school, like 7th, 8th grade.
About the 8th grade,
staying at people's houses.
And it was only after I knew the people for a minute.
Yeah, you was real cool with everybody.
I had to be cool with the parents and really know them, and they would have to be we kind of had to be on the same level.
Get to know each other at the games and stuff like that.
Yeah, because I don't play that. Just tell them to come over here was my whole. That was everything. I would say, well, tell them they can come over here.
Yeah, even with my dad's best friend, I was staying with LaVardis, and then y'all go out of town. I stayed with them for a whole week in high school while y'all was at it.
Well, in high school, yes, you had to be like. To me, you had to be at an age where I knew that you would vocalize in me if anything was off the wall. Yeah. If anything was off the wall. And I mean, and we were open enough with each other that I felt like if somebody did do something, as soon as you got home, you would tell me. Yeah. So.
Because even now, because when y'all gone, our babysitters be limited because I don't be trusting everybody to watch.
You shouldn't.
Yeah, so.
You shouldn't.
Like maybe Mama Jordan, but that's about
it. Jordan, and then you got Rian and Andrew.
Yeah, but they got their own stuff going on, so I don't be trying to ask them too much. But yeah.
What else though? Because think about when she 10 and 12 and.
The conversation that might gonna be hard for me is when she gets old enough and we gotta have to talk about the birds and the bees. Yeah. That's gonna be a tough one for me.
Yeah. Well, you have to grow as she grows up.
Y'all
have to grow.
Open with me and Daryl about that type of stuff. So we had that.
I felt like it was important that we talked about it. Yeah. Now that was one thing I felt like I was a little bit different from a lot of Gen Xers.
You definitely was.
I feel it's important for every parent to not have dementia or short-term memory loss when it comes to how you were at those ages. Because like my grandma used to say, ain't nothing different under the sun. Yeah. Like, so if you were doing certain things or, you have to go back. I don't care how much, I don't care what they say. I don't care what kind of piece of raisin you put on them. Yeah. They still little humans that are going to go through their whole cycle of life.
Mistakes.
They're going to do things. But so they need to feel like if ain't nobody else they can go to, they need to be able to talk to the people that's going to have their best interest at heart. You know what I mean? But yeah.
I do feel like if she does like have little slip ups and stuff, I don't think I would judge her.
Right. Yeah. Well,
I feel like sometimes like back in the days, well, I would just see this like on movies and stuff like that. I never really seen it, but like I feel like y'all generation, if like their daughters got pregnant or something, they'll be like talking down on them, calling them like out of their name.
Oh no. Yeah.
Or kick them out.
Yeah. I mean, I felt like I said, and I saw it a lot too, but I was determined that was something I was not going to do. And I feel like that even with like millennials, Gen Xers, whomever, I feel like you always have that. At the end of the day, we can take what we want and what we don't want from any traditional way. You can have your own way. I just don't throw it all out is what I'm saying, because there's some good, but then there's also you still have to do things according to what your values are and what you think and what you want for your child. Right. I think that's kind of how some of the discipline changed, because some of them wanted, if the parent or whatever was too rough on them, they might have went the whole polar opposite.
They rebelled.
And yeah.
But I want to know too, like it's a difference too with raising children too, because we have co-parenting, so they're like in two different households.
Oh, true. That's what, you're right. Now back when I was growing up, I was not the norm. I was my mom and dad split up when I was a little one, and so they both went on, and she married and he married. So I had a chance to be co-parented. But my situation, I felt like, was a lot different than a lot of people. Like it went actually really smooth for us. But I was rare. Like I felt like most of the people that I knew and my friends had a 2-parent household as far as their actual mom and dad were together.
Yeah.
But my actual biological dad was not until later. So, but I still felt like they got along well enough that I never remember my mom saying negative things about my dad to me. And my dad has never said anything negative about my mom to me either. And they always had good things to say. Like he would always be like, well, your mom, she's doing a great job raising you. And then my mom would always say, well, your dad's making sure you're taken care of, And so, and I always spent the summers with my dad and, stuff like that. So it was a good experience for me. But I know now with co-parenting, I feel like that's something to navigate,
Yeah, I feel like it's more of a norm than it was back then. So it could either go one or two ways. It could go where you get along, like you said, or they don't get along, and it makes difficult raising a child. Yeah. So, and then sometimes the parent that's causing all the problems, like, instills those bad habits and tendencies on the child.
Yeah. Or it put the child in the middle, where they in a space where they shouldn't be, because they should just feel loved no matter what, and there should never be any negativity.
It's almost like they make one of the parents sometimes make the child choose. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, between
like, you gotta
who?
be like choose a side.
Yeah.
And that's not, and that could be hard raising.
Yeah. It could be hard depending on the situation. What people are going through. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot. Like, so let us know in the comments, y'all, like, about, ideas, give tips on how you kind of blend the generations, how you were raised, and what your intentions are, and let us know what part of the Gen Xers y'all millennials plan to keep. Gen Xers, let us know some of the things that you feel like the millennials need to keep. Because I think it is important not to just let a child raise themselves. Yeah. Like, you really got to get in there and raise the child. Yeah. And what does raising a child mean to you? Because to me, it's more than just being present, right? Yeah, you got to be active. You got to be an active part, because I feel like that's what carries on. I think now you remember more of the stuff that we were very intentional with you. And I think it carried along with you.
Yeah, even like when we was working with my dad in the summers, and we learned, how to work for the stuff that we got.
Exactly. You got to work for, and nobody's gonna give you nothing. Yeah. I feel like sometimes when we start have these elaborate birthday parties, and you're giving all this stuff to this child, and the child there's no expectations. They don't have to get grades. They don't have to do anything.
No chores.
That's not realistic about how life is set up. You know what I mean? Yeah. Life, it doesn't owe you. They don't. You got to get out and get it.
I feel like we were people, because we did get a lot of things, and people thought we was spoiled, but we also worked for stuff.
Yeah, we made y'all work.
We didn't just sit around the house and do nothing all day. We had to keep our areas clean. We went to work with my dad all day.
After y'all got a certain age, I had y'all washing y'all own clothes. Yeah. Y'all did all that yourselves. Yeah. The only thing is, I was cutting your pancakes very late in life.
That's
I'm just playing, but it's true. It's true.
And but I still cut my spaghetti noodles.
I still cut your spaghetti noodles. I do. But I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Don't want to take it too long, but remember, at the end of the day, you get to specialize your parenting styles however you need it to be, to make sure that your child grows up to be healthy and successful. And that is on you. Remember, you are the parent. You decide to bring that child in the world, so that it is your responsibility to make sure that this child has what it needs. Yeah.
And also, leave in the comments, say happy 1 month let us know that you watched the full episode. And please, if you like the video, please like the video. And
like the video. Subscribe to us. Yes, we need some subscribers out there. Remember that subscribing is absolutely free. There is no charge for subscribing on YouTube. So please subscribe to us. And we hope that you'll be ready for us coming up soon. We got some nice stuff coming down the pipe. So we'll be bringing on some guests soon. That kind of thing. Yeah. So I am happy. We're going to be talking about some fun subjects.
Yeah, more current event subjects.
Current event stuff is coming up, that kind of thing. And then soon we're going to get into sports, the difference between the Gen Xers and the millennials, music, all of that. But yeah, thank you guys for hanging out with us.
All right,
you good?
Yeah, we're good.
We good?
See y'all later.
All right, y'all.
Till next time.
All right, next time.
These streets can't cross them up. All these streets need bosses. Boss them up.
Big dog status, Bill Hubble. I bought Lennox Mall for my brother. Sold your bag, told the cutter. I got it out the field.